So as this year begins to come to an end, as the countdown begins for the new year, most people would want to know what happened in 2025 and how 2026 can be different. The important thing that one should realize that in 2025, the equity returns concentrated in a small list of winners, whereas the broad indices did not perform so well. What am I trying to say? Is that with just 3 trading sessions left for the year to come to an end, the Sensex is up 8.8% in 2025, and yet many investors' portfolios have not even felt that much. This is because nearly 79% of the actively traded BSE stocks failed to beat the fixed deposit return of something which is analogous to the 10-year benchmark government bond in the United States. What we have in India is the State Bank of India's fixed deposit return of 6.25% for 1 year to under 2 years duration. So at least you should have been able to beat 6.25%, but we find that nearly 79%, let's say 80%, or 8 out of 10 BSE stocks failed to beat even your fixed deposit rate this year. This year's market's toughest rival was not some global shock or a mysterious quant signal. It was the very simple State Bank of India 1 to 2 years FD rate. The benchmark is green and maybe just a good day's rally away from even its all-time high. Is that possible with just 3 trading days to go? But stock picking and sometimes even casual investing outside the biggest names has been a grind in 2025. It is not that equities stopped rewarding risk. It is that rewards got concentrated and the rest of the market was left trying to follow the main gainers. So it became, in short, very stock-specific market. This contrast is sharp because the recent past trained the investors to expect an easier equity game. In 2023 and 24, 70% and 63% of the stocks beat the same hurdle of SBI 1 to 2 years FD rate. Whereas in 2021, 85% did beat that benchmark. Simply put, you could throw a dart, miss the board, and still end up with a return that looked respectable next to a fixed deposit. But in 2025, the market reverted to an older lesson, reminiscent of 2018 and 2019, that the bull markets can be very selective and even unforgiving. Donald Trump's tariffs had added a great amount of worry right from the beginning of the year. Just little after he was sworn in as the president, we found that from April, the tariff issues started impacting the Indian markets. Our very Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji had gone to United States rather early in February itself, but that did not cut the mustard, and we saw the markets were not able to digest that there was no trade deal, and right up to the end of this year, they could not find any. Now, therefore, you found that 8 out of 10 or 80% of the stocks on the Bombay Stock Exchange did not beat even the simple FD rate of State Bank of India. Now, what's lying ahead? This is something which is not a very good situation. As you know, winners did exist in 2025, but the flashy ones were few. Only 97 stocks doubled and 130 stocks delivered 51 to 100% return. The bigger bucket of winners was the more ordinary kind. 352 stocks returned just 15 to 50%. The FD yardstick is not an argument that equities should behave like fixed income. It is a reality check on how dispersed the equity outcomes can be And what you should be careful of, that there are some years when the market, the benchmark as a whole may not perform. There are a few pockets which can do very well. For example, defense stocks, which were doing very well in the prior years. And although India did spend a lot on defense and is going to continue to, they got hammered in many parts of the, because it became an overcrowded trade. You had some very good new age stocks doing well, metal stocks did well, and even some good banking stocks did well. But other than that, except for the last couple of months when IT has come back, it was basically an artificial intelligence driven trade across the world, and there are not many stocks in India which were AI driven. So you saw that was one of the reasons why the Indian stocks got a beating. So what lies ahead, friends? 2026, everybody's waiting with bated breath. What's aage kya aana hai? What's lying further for the Indian stock markets? Well, a trade deal, I think, is around the corner, and you should not be surprised, but it will come in parts. It will not be a done deal in one shot. But the day it comes, you'll find that several sessions after that should see the market rally quite a bit. So it will not be just a one-day rally, one-day wonder, as we call it. This will continue for some time, and that should be a very good sign. We have gold and silver doing very well in 2025, and to some parts it will do well next year, I believe. But there will be some parts where there could be a reality check coming even in the precious metals, and they may also come down sharply. So, but we need to be very, very careful in that regard as well. And if you look at the markets, the equity markets, this is just a pure analysis now. What we believe can happen as far as 2026 is concerned, it will be a year of extremes. So you will find that there will be times when the markets can rally very, very sharply for a few weeks, even few months. And there could be times when it can get completely cold and the market will lose steam and momentum and can come down drastically as well. Now, when can this happen is the question mark that must be there in everybody's minds. Yes, it is not difficult to figure this out. It requires a lot of research and analysis, and that's what we have put together in our analysis. We can tell you around which time you can find the market gaining steam and losing momentum. So if you find that in some months the market is rallying very, very fast, you may be tempted to go out and do a sip or start a sip. But do be careful that all the months of the year will not be uniform. Some months the market can suffer a great amount of shakeout, and those will not be very interesting months for the ordinary investor. So all in all, if I were to make some judgment, precious metals can rally in many parts still, even after the high levels that they have reached, but they can also go through a good amount of weakness and fall, and much of it can be triggered by equity markets, which can get weak at certain point of time. So should I dismiss this year 2026 also? No, there are some very, very strong periods which are coming, and some, as I've told you, could be coming in very quickly. But how much of it will sustain and go forward is going to be a $1 billion question. But I can assure you that all is not done. Some very, very good periods you may find, and but don't get carried away. Whenever you see that the market is rising very, very fast, and I wouldn't be surprised if it races through 26,500, 27,000 at some point of time. We are going to give all the details in our various groups. So don't be surprised of all this happening, but don't get carried away and don't catch the market at its peak, because when the turn takes place, it will be very, very nasty. We suggest that people should understand timing the markets. Many people think is impossible, but without timing, you will not be able to sail through this year 2026. It will be present wonderful opportunities for the person who is willing to understand logic, as to when the rises and falls are coming. Right? Do hard work, research. We are, of course, always there to share it with you. And yes, if you have any, and especially we like people to diversify their investments, and that's why we have started this commodities package today, where we'll be covering up gold, silver, and copper, and then other metals in due course. We are going to give you our logic, our thinking. To buy or sell will be entirely your decision, your analysis. And same with the case of equities. We are only going to give you our logic, why we think the markets can rally at what points of time. As I told you, there is something good going to happen as far as the India-US trade deal, and I look forward to it quickly. And that will also strengthen the rupee, by the way, and help it as well. So at that points of time, you can enjoy the rally, which I think will be very fast, very furious. And therefore, you can join any of our groups, the weekly prediction group or the daily prediction group. Number to get in touch for all. You can WhatsApp us 982-086-1044. Namaste. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.